of the today's presentation is role of cropping system management, particularly in nature-based farming. So this will be our that content, particularly for our lecture. I'll just brief out the introduction, understanding nature positive, then cropping system management way to nature positive farming, challenges of nature positive food system and solutions, future direction and conclusion. So this is all about my lecture. What is the time allotted to me? How much time is allotted to me? Is it half
So,
an hour?
yes, sir, it is in half an hour for the lecture.
Okay, thank you very much. So if we see that the how to thus just achieve our goal, so particularly for that the food system summit, that the Hudson Day Gemelli et al. 2023 has given some actionable task, and that was discussed in United Nations framework called SS. So for that the sustainable development goals. So out of that, if you see that the how to ensure that the safe, how to ensure that the access safe and nutritious foods to all the people who is a burgeoning population, and then how to go for that the shift from conventional to sustainable consumption of that the food materials, then how to build the resilience to shock and stress, then advance equitable livelihoods, and finally how to boost that the nature products positive production system. So this is all about that the how to just go for that the to achieve that the United Nations fix that the sustainable 17 sustainable development goals, and that has to be achieved by 2030, so that the without prior involvement of our sustainable agriculture practices we cannot have go for achieving these sustainable development goals. So if you see that the what is the nature positive and how can nature positive to be measured, so that the in December 2020 the United Nations that they have on COP 2015 adopted some model that is known as Conming Montreal Global Biodiversity Model, so framework. Uh, the mission of this halt and reserve biodiversity laws by 2030, and by 2050 biodiversity is valued, conserved, restored and widely used. By maintaining ecosystem services, sustaining a healthy planet and delivering benefits essential for our people, which is consistent with the nature positive goal. So if you see that the how just to protect our natural parent material, our natural nature of things, by improve that the different mechanism or technologies which we are going to adopt or which we have developed, and that is to be translated into the farming community. So by protecting what is the left, if you see that the when we have started and that the using chemical fertilizer that is not very old. So if you have gone through that the review and literature, then you find that uh, the the invention of fertilizer is very new, and it is hardly 100 old. So from there the use of fertilizer is in our country, it is by adoption of at the dwarf varieties and judicious use of irrigation and judicious management of nutrients, particularly in 1965 when the dwarf varieties of wheats are comes. So the ill effect of that management practices, particularly for dwarf, irrespective of that the ratio which the scientists advocated to the farming community and the policy of government interventions. People are using huge amount of nitrogenous fertilizer instead of phosphorus and potassic fertilizer. That the phosphoric and potassic fertilizer is costlier than that the nitrogenous fertilizer. That's why that the pattern of this ratio, what we are suggesting 4:2:1, that is not yet at that level. It is around 6.9 is to 2.4, 2.5, then 1. So this is all about that, the particularly for nutrient. Likewise, that the when if you go in 1964, 65 to 80s, then the response of per kg of nutrient applied was around, when we apply 1 kg of NPK, then we got around 15 kg of product. But later on, right now, we are how much we are getting? It is only 3 kg per hectare. So 3 kg per kg of nutrient applied. So this is all about that, the depletion of our soil, multi-nutrient deficiency, problem soil erosion, and other kind of things prevails in our that system. Particularly climate change is also one of the factor. So these are the things for which we have to think about how to go for the natural based nature positive farming system. So if you see this slide, then you find that the pillars of nature positive farming. So basically, Cohen, Sakran et al. They have suggested that there are three pillars, particularly for protecting and boost that the nature positive farming. So number one, if you see that the protect nature. So that the number one is to protect natural system and protected areas from new conservations for food production and save the set aside some and other given back to the nature. Then sustainably manage existing food system, or to manage the things to get that the sustainable production system by by inculcating the things which are developed by the scientists, particularly for that the for the adoption of different uh, practices which are beneficial to the systems. And then third one is to restore and rehabilitate degraded system for sustainable food productions and ecosystem. Right now we are very much focusing on ecosystem services. So these are the things we have to think about, and they are interlinked. So if one pillar is here, if you see that the one pillar is detached with another one, then we have not to go for that the to boost that the nature positive farming. So coming to the cropping system, so you all might know that the what is the cropping system. I'm not going to into detail that the cropping system and their interaction with the farm resources, and that the farm enterprises, and how to cope up with that the whatever the recent available technology to interlink with each other, particularly for resilience, for making resilience of the climate. So this is all about that we have to think about the cropping system, and the cropping system must be in order to support not only that the soil health, but also to support or to adopt in uh, aberrant weather situation as well as in changing climatic situation. The objective of these cropping systems, particularly for if it we have to think about how to utilize our resources very efficiently, particularly in reference to land, water, as well as solar radiation. And then second one is to maintain the stability of production and obtaining higher net returns. So the concern of this government is to how to increase that the benefit of per per hectare production in terms of monetary. So this is all about that the objective of then how many types of cropping system. You all know that the different crop rotation, when we are rotating the crops in a year or in a definite year or year to year, then it is known as rotation. And then intercropping, when two or more crops simultaneously grown in the definite row pattern, or sometimes it is mixed with each other. So this is called as that the intercropping. Then delay cropping, how to go for that the before harvesting of the crop. Next crop is sown in between that the preceding crop. It is analogous type relay race. So these are the some means that the types of cropping system. Then monocropping, then sequence cropping. Monocropping means that the only one crop grown year after year, like rice every year that we are going to rice, or somewhere we are going to maize likewise. So what is the role of cropping system in nature positive farming? So anything which we are doing in our agriculture system or in farming, that that have some capability for restoring that the soil, that reducing the load of either carbon footprint or water footprint, and that how to link with carbon footprint and not that water footprint. So an energy footprint is also one of the important things. So the role of cropping system is a very crucial, particularly for nature positive farming. So the aim for this cropping system is to enhance the biodiversity, maintain the soil health, water quality, and overall ecosystem resilience. Similarly, at the same time, while maintaining or improving the agriculture productivity. Some of the cropping system like diversity. When we are talking about the diversity, what is the diversification? Diversification means that the what is the existing cropping system, prevailing cropping system, like rice and wheat cropping system is prevails in IGP. So how to diversify this system with other crops? So in that rice wheat cropping system, here at IFSR Modipuram has tried several cropping system, not only in IGP, across the country, to diversify the dominant cropping system. Particularly for rice wheat, we have to incorporate summer moong bean. However, while we have also to think about to replace rice with other maize crop and other crop, other kharif crops. Similarly, in case of wheat, we have to think about to replace this wheat with mustard and other pulses like chickpea or vegetable pea. So likewise, we have to think about how to diversify our system, existing prevalent prominent cropping system, to have to maintain that the to enhance that system productivity, vis-a-vis to have that the having higher carbon sequestration, low, you can say that the carbon efficient farming system, cropping system, and having that the water efficient also, energy efficient. It should be energy efficient also. Similar case in water management, when we are going to replace one rice and wheat crop with pulses or oilseed, we have to save that the water in a optimum quantity. So that is also to be addressed with amicably adoption of cropping system. Then habitat restoration is also one of the issue that has been solved by adoption of this diversification. So everything is linked with that the diversification in a prevalent cropping system. So we have to also to cope resilience by adoption of different climate resilient crops, particularly in changing climatic era. Then each, if you see that the this ring, then diversification is linked with soil health, water management is also linked with soil health, and carbon sequestration is also linked with habitat restoration, water. And then how to go for the reduced chemical inputs when we are not using that rice and wheat. We and going for the by go for taking that the pulse seed or pulses, or that the coarse cereal like sorghum or that pearl millet. So we have to have at the same time to reduce the use of chemical inputs in terms of not only in terms of fertilizer, but also in terms of herbicide and different kinds of pesticide and insecticides. So this is the message from this slide. Then in this you can see that the photographic view of diversification in different cropping system, how we have to go for diversification. So maize can also be diversified. That is also two way for that the diversification. One, we have to tell that the horizontal, and another way is vertical. So here that the monoculture versus diversified cropping system. You see that the in monoculture system, the soil-borne disease is recorded higher, while soil erosion is also higher, while that nutrient use efficiency, water use efficiency, biodiversity, and soil functional microorganism, these are going down. You see that the in left side, everything is in red, and that the soil-borne disease is higher and erosion is higher. Similarly, in case of diversify cropping system during in your right, you can see that the soil-borne diseases are going to reduce. Similarly, soil erosion can also be minimizes. Nutrient use efficiency, water use efficiency, biodiversity, soil functional microorganism that has to be enhanced by uh, adoption of proper kind of diversification in existing cropping system. I'm just putting one simple example. If we add that the leguminous crop in our cropping system, then it add value. So that's why if you see that the all kind of nutrient use efficiency, water use efficiency, biodiversity, and functional quality of microorganisms that has enhanced by different kinds of auxins and other hormones which are secreted by the root zones, particularly for leguminous crop, that serves benefits to the next crop, or that the when we go for the intercrop, that serves benefits. So this is the message for these slides. Then we have to think about the how to go for the biointensive resource efficient cropping system. We have to have think about that the yeah, that green gram and black gram in that sunflower. Similarly, in case of wheat, we have to go for that the wheat as well as chickpea. Not only chickpea, we are also going to take that the lentil and other. So here you see that the benefits of biointensive resource efficient cropping system in terms of nitrogen fixation, atmospheric nitrogen fixation, and also biological nitrogen fixation, and that enhance whatever the amount of leaves drop in the soil surface, that has enhanced that better habitat condition, provided better habitat condition not only to maintain or regulate the soil moisture but also and temperature, but also protect the soil for erosion. So when we go for the biointensive resource efficient cropping system, that has to add value, and by adoption of this we can say that the biointensive cropping system, adoption of biointensive cropping system, resource efficient cropping system has the capability towards moving that the nature based solution. Sorry. In this slide, you can see that the role of intercropping of pulses. Pulses are the best example for that the contingency plan against climate, water, and other several factors. Here we have taken one example for soybean plus jowar, and you see that the soybean grown with jowar, arhar, urad, and maize. You see that the yield advantage over flat bed method. So here the advantage of yield was 15 to 45. Only that the it was compared with the flat beds. So likewise that the raised bed having special provision, particularly for reducing the amount of water required by a crop. So, and that right side, you can see that the benefit of different legume with sugarcane as well as autumn planted or spring planted. I have one experience. This year we have started intercropping as well as subsurface irrigation, particularly in sugarcane. That spring planted sugarcane. So we have go for that the groundnut and other vegetable options during summer season under wider row planting. In our area, adjoining that the Meerut, you can see that the upper Indo-Gangetic plain zone, that is sugarcane belt. So farmers are giving sugarcane. So we have to go for that the subsurface and surface drip irrigation. So we have not yet received the data, but that is very the condition, physiological condition, or you can say that the first year data was quite good compared to the what farmers are practicing. This is the resource conservation through raised-based planting system. You can see that the in left side that the how we have to create the raised bed. So that has the advantage around 20% in chickpea and 36% in urad bean. And vis-a-vis it saves that the 25% of the nutrient and seed, while 40 to 45% irrigation water also saves by using this. And additionally, that leafy vegetables in furrows we have to try in during that the Rabi season, like spinach, that other we have also to go for that the um, fenugreek and other crops between the rows. So fertilizer use efficiency was also increased by 16 to 20%, and water use efficiency we have to observe 35 to 45% enhancement. We see that the spinach grown in between that the chickpea in right side below. Similarly, we have to use that the whatever that the residue left during that the kharif season in between the rows of chickpea to enhance that the water use efficiency. Sustained bath. So this is a one crop mung bean that is known as ATM in eastern Uttar Pradesh. People are that getting uh, around 1 ton per hectare uh, mung bean within a 60, 55 to 65 days span. So this is one of the option to take that the summer mung in rice and wheat after wheat crop. That has to enhance that this that improve the soil health, and around 20 to 30 kg nitrogen we have to save, particularly for the rice crop, by adoption of this summer movement during during summer season. That has also to reduce that has also the potential for reducing the weed population in next crops. So here that we have also taken one of our work that was conducted in Sikkim condition. So we have published in high rated journal International Soil and Water Conservation Research. Here we have tried to make that the how to intensify that maize fallow system by incorporating different oilseed and pulses in between that the in a year. So here you see that the maize cowpea rajma and maize plus cowpea followed by vegetable pea has yielded more, and that has the benefit cost ratio of is it was 2.60 to 2.86 compared to 1.76 in maize fallow. Then soil health management via cropping via adoption of cropping system. So I'm not discussing much here. Soil health improved by adoption of different kind of oil seeds and pulses. The main principles of cropping system or intercropping system or any kind of cropping system, that we have to take two different natures of crops that exploit that the input from different zones of the soil. So likewise, when we go for this all in totality, we have to reduce the emissions, or we have to reduce the carbon footprint, and we have also to enhance that water footprint, energy footprint, to reduce energy footprint and improve the soil health. So this is all about that when we include pulses in sequential cropping, then how to have to reduce that the N equivalent, how much that nitrogen equivalent we have to get it by taking chickpea maize 60 to 70 kg. In case of pulse, it per limited it has 40 kg. So this is all about that the one of the study was conducted by several workers, and also this study was conducted at IIPR Kanpur. They have suggested this kind of cropping system and the fertilizer nitrogen economy in different cropping system. And on an average, if any can one say that the biological nitrogen fixation can have the ability to around 40 kg nitrogen per hectare in a year or in a season. Then soil nitrate after harvest of pulses. So additional soil nitrate when chickpea was grown, it was plus 14 kg nitrogen. Likewise, movement maximum urad bean it was 38 kg. Then in case of sorghum and pigeon pea intercrop, it was 32 kg. While cowpea pigeon pea it was also 32 kg. While minimum in that pigeon pea it is around 15 kg. Conservation tillage and organic nutrient. Well, this is one of the also one of the study conducted at northeastern region. Here we have taken maize followed by vegetable pea, and that we have to take it in different conservation agriculture practices like zero tillage and reduced tillage. And we have go for this experiment in purely in organic farming condition, and that paper was also published in high rated journal. Here we just enhance that the farm productivity and profitability around 10%, and system productivity 9.6%, and production efficiency around 10%. And we have to reduce found that the reduction in bug nesting and soil penetration resistance when we go for this zero tillage and reduced tillage compared to the conventional tillage. And we have to record it around 12% soil organic carbon after 6 cropping cycle. And for particularly in available nitrogen it was to 10%, and also enhance that the soil microbial biomass carbon. So this is all about that we have to go for that the sustained food production with environmental sustainability. Then again coming to the water management, different practices or different things. When we go for the cropping system, here you can see that the sorghum, chickpea, maize, groundnut, and pearl millet, pigeon pea. So the product water productivity is higher in sorghum, chickpea compared to maize and groundnut. So this is all about the water requirement of the crops. So the urad bean required in summer, it requires higher amount of water compared to the kharif season. Summer is temperature was quite bit high. That's why it required frequent irrigation. That's why water requirement during that the summer season, particularly for urad bean and mung bean, is higher compared to the kharif season. If you see that the paddy, it requires 120 to 400 a kilogram of production of rice that require 3000 to 4000 liter of water. So compared to this, very meager amount of water is required, particularly for pulses. So this is all about that the different tillage and the sprinkler irrigation use on water use efficiency, productivity, economics of field pea. You can see that when we go for the zero tillage operations, uh, then we have to higher water use efficiency and water productivity compared to the others. Per day productivity is also higher in zero tillage compared to reduced tillage and conventional tillage. This study was conducted at IIPR Kanpur. The carbon sequestration via cropping system, you can see that when we add that the leguminous crop compared to that the cereal, the total organic carbon content was enhanced a bit compared to that the cereal system in when we go for incorporating these pulses. So this is all about that the pulses per soil carbon sequestration. You can see that the rice wheat having that the lower side of milligram carbon per gram of soil compared to the rice wheat and mung bean, then rice chickpea, rice wheat. So this is all about that the how to go for the residue recycling and carbon flux into the soil through pulse based system. So right now that the most of the farmer are harvested their rice and wheat through combine. So it is a good time to have the add organic matter through that the residue of rice as well as wheat into the soil to enhance that the amount of carbon build up the soil health of the. Here you can see that the the performance of sugarcane, that performance of mung bean and chickpea lentil. After that, rice in a 20 to 25 to 30 centimeter of residue that is not incorporated, that is in a standing position. This is all about that the habitat to enhance that the habitat restoration. So we have to have think about different agroforestry, cover cropping, and crop rotation by taking that the leguminous crop and by providing that the different LNS based cropping system, LNS based agroforestry system. So this approach is prevalent in northeastern region. So here we have to think about the conservation agriculture practices in rice field cropping system, and also through inclusion of different leguminous crop for enhancing that the biological nitrogen fixation, and that enhancing that the total recycling of the nutrient available. Then how to go for the resilience to the climate change via cropping system. So we have to select drought hardy or climate resilient crops in cropping system for avoid that climate change. Then we have to think about to reduce chemical input. I'm just telling about how to go for the natural farming and organic farming. We have to also think about that the adoption of natural farming. Several that the principle and practices that has been developed by the ICR, we have to go through, and by adoption of this natural farming, we have to have actually get that the similar kind of production or productivity as compared to the conventional one over the years. So this is all about that the what kind of action to successfully cope with the trade-offs and scaling up nature positive food system. So these are the some suggestions which have to be given to the policymakers and the stakeholders for improving the system, for improving and enhancing the production productivity and livelihood of the farming community. So this is the commitments of the government of India. They have promised in convention of parties. We have to have reduced that we have to go for the carbon neutral economy by 2017. So different that action suggested how to go by the phase wise or by a time limit to reduce this carbon emissions and to nurture that the our system into the carbon neutral system. So here we have suggested some model how to go for this greener economy, how to go for that the intensified cropping system, and how to get this cleaner production system into our system to make that the economy more greener. So these are the some challenges, particularly for nature positive food system. Then economic challenges that the by adoption of this cropping system and other nature-based solutions, we have to have reduce our yield level. Then economic challenge is also this requires higher labor demand than higher cost. So these are the some facts about that the different kind of challenges faced by that the nature positive food system. So in nutshell, that the cropping system itself a nature positive farming. When scientifically we have to adopt this cropping system that has to foster the biodiversity and enhance that the soil health and to conserve the water resources, and ultimately when we put together these things, then the carbon sequestration potential is also enhanced. Similarly, we have to have restored the habitats, and by reduction in the dependency of chemicals in our crop, that the agriculture operations, we have to enhance that resilient and to cope with that the climate change. So we have to think about different kinds of rotation, cover cropping, agroforestry, conservation tillages, and conservation agriculture practices that has the proven technology to reduce the environmental impact and promote efficient resource utilization in long-term agriculture viability. So, in overall, that the policymaker have to have see all these things for promotion, for that the grassroots level approach of these technology to having that the towards moving carbon neutral farming system. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you very much.